Hello everybody, welcome to our 5 acres near Waxhaw, North Carolina. I know you want to come out on a field trip and explore the property, so that's what we're going to do. Most of my stuff is one of a kind. I make it from scrap from my real job. What's my real job? Well, it's a company that makes packaging equipment. So like if you go to the store and you buy some shampoo, we might have used a machine that puts the shampoo in the bottle and screws on the cap. And when they make some mistakes or they have some leftover little parts like this, I bring them home and make a giant critter. Let's go see some more stuff. A lot of what I make is from stainless steel, which is a type of metal like your spoons, forks, knives at home that they don't rust. But I want to add a little color sometimes, so sometimes I'll add some plastic or glass, paint, caulk, or even a little rust on purpose over the stainless steel. Sometimes my sculptures get inspired by what I'm given. Here's some huge chain from the anchor of a ship I was given. I thought, what can I use for it for? And I thought, I'll make a tail for a kite, and I'll have this little tiny figure trying to fly that kite, and the tail will hold everything up. A lot of my sculptures are based on simple sketches. Here's an idea of this piece could be drawn out of this piece. I call it Hug Me, where one's hugging the other. They're complementary, they go together. And it's just a flat plate. I've actually taken drawings of some of the students at your school that did artwork, and we cut them out of flat plates and put them all around the campus. It's a great way to create two-dimensional art in a sculptural form. Sometimes my sculptures are pretty obvious. I'll actually spell words out. Can you see the word joy spelled out in the sculpture? J-O-Y. Simple idea. Why not spell it out? Here's another one. I actually sometimes just cut the letters out of metal instead of trying to make them out of other pieces of metal. J-O-Y. Maybe my favorite word right now. Usually this part of the tour we come out to this field and there's a big sculpture down the end. And I'll be like, hey kids, let's all go run down there, so let's go do it. Oh, wait a minute. I forgot to bring you with me. Yeehaw! So this is one of those few sculptures where I actually ordered the material and made the sculpture from brand new material. I rarely do that because this idea was stuck in my head and it kept growing. I had to get it out of my system. Now I'm okay. Come on, let's go see what's in this pile. Look. Heart, dragonfly, guitar. I don't know what that is. You ever seen anything like that before? Cool. I like it when they wiggle. Over here we have like this 35-foot long dragon. I use them for my fire pit. So when I have some leftover cardboard or something, I just throw it in his mouth and light him up. I call him Max. He's kind of like Mad Max, the fire-breathing dragon. In my studio I got a lot of cool toys here to make stuff out of metal. One of these is called a power hammer. I'll show you what we're going to do. Put on some ear protection. It's going to get loud. Take a flat piece of metal like this, and if we want to make it not so flat, stick it in there and we go at it. Just like that. That's not so flat. I don't like straight lines. I think curvy lines are a more interesting way to get from one point to another. Don't you agree? Let me tell you about this tree. It's cut with a computer-assisted machine that basically uses sand and water to cut through the aluminum. Detail like this is hard to do by hand, so some artists use computers to help them do things. There's nothing wrong with that. There's really no rules in art, but I tend to prefer to do most of my stuff here at home by hand. Unless I have to cut out, like, say, a tiger or something, then I might have to use a computer. There's no way a computer's going to do this, though. This is all handmade. Took about 9 months. Whew. I'm glad I'm done with it. Some guy came in the driveway just a little while ago and wanted to buy it. I don't think it's for sale. This is my horsey. It's called Rising to the Challenge. It's not about a horse rising to the challenge. It's about whether I could take little pieces of metal and make a rearing horse. Could I rise to the challenge? Now, normally when I give a field trip, we just do this 5 acres. But guess what? Virtual field trips can take you places differently than just this 5 acres. We've got 80 acres in South Carolina. And you know how we get there? It's real simple. You put your hat on backwards and you snap your fingers. Snap! There. We are magically now at Heartseed Gardens, which is about 80 acres of crazy metal things and a few concrete things too. Let's go check it out. Come on. Down here, I can build the sculptures a little bit larger because I don't have to move them. This is a very, very, very large chair. So most of my sculptures are actually made from recycled material or old material. I don't typically buy anything new. I try to take old material and repurpose it. Even though this is pretty thick and heavy duty stuff, if you look closely you can see that there are a bunch of little parts put together to make this large sort of Christmas tree looking sculpture. So this sculpture is called Heads and Tails. It's basically a totem pole, and there's an animal head on one side and the corresponding tail on the other side. That's why it's heads and tails. Like this is a warthog's head, or Hogwarts if you're into Harry Potter, and the little squirrely tail. Clearly this is the tail for this weird monkey. I do have a thing where I do monkeys a lot. Let's go see if we can find another one. Since I don't get a lot of big pieces that people throw away, usually they only throw away little leftovers, right? It takes me a long time to weld them all together to make a large sculpture. And when I take that long, I'll spend time hiding little symbols in there. A lot of times I'll hide things for kids to find later. The piece is more interesting if you don't see everything all at once. About 4 or 5 years ago I had a heart attack, and so I hide hearts a lot of times in my sculptures. Not all the time, but a lot of times if you look for my hearts in my sculptures, they're pretty easy to find. Can you find the dragonfly? How about the 3 daisies? You know why I do daisies a lot? Because that's the name of my wife. And speaking of names, here's a tough one. See if you can find where I hid mine in there. It's hard to see. Look for the T, a little O, and a big M. Got it? Alright. Sometimes when I'm working on a sculpture, it's all about the pose, trying to find out what's the right expression. You get a lot of emotional expression from hands, from a pose. You don't have to put a face on a sculpture to convey emotion. You can also convey emotion with color. Purple gives a lot of pop in the middle of the green woods, don't you think? And placement is everything, where the lighting hits it just right. Here's 3 sculptures that are based on a pose. There's a figurative representation, then sort of the same pose with more of a junk metal kind of approach. And then right over here is a flat version of that same pose. technically a mirror image. It's a good way to interpret different poses and different approaches. Again, sculptures made from little pieces welded together, and then I hide things on them for kids to find later. A lot of times I put my names on my sculptures where you can see them. Kangaroo on skis, it's called Jumper. So you never know what you're going to find in the woods or in the mind of a strange artist. This is my text Rex, T-Rex, it's texting. He's a teenager, he's not fully developed, his legs are long and gangly and his tail isn't filled out. But he's really into his technology, and you know, that may have caused the extinction of the dinosaurs. Just saying. I made this sculpture a few years ago called Force of Nature. She's up here standing over 11 feet tall, made out of all little bitty parts left over from basically technology in the industrial workplace that would have ended up in the environment as scrap. Here, reformed into a lady who's got a lightning bolt in one hand and is basically saying, stop, enough is enough. You know what's crazy about this? Is Mother Nature's being taken over a little bit by Mother Nature. I kind of like that. One of my favorite kinds of sculpture is abstract sculpture, meaning it doesn't have to look like something you might recognize in the real world. And I love it as a mental challenge. What can I do with this material and make something that is aesthetically pleasing to me? And when I'm done, it makes my heart leap for joy. I mean, literally. In the middle of Heartseed Gardens is this place called Whipsnake Park. And all I can do to explain it is to show you some photographs. It's really the topic of a whole different video. Let's just say it's 55 trucks of cement and about 5 years of my work, and it's the biggest sculpture I've ever made.
How to feel the wounds you don't see are the hardest to heal. It's like a disease aching inside. All the oceans of emotions aren't easy to hide. The days are too dark, the nights are too long. Over insecurities and cuts in the bone. You're expecting too much to leave me behind. The dilemma that's within us is a waste of our time. Life wears me down, and I'm struggling now. So don't let me drown.
Well, it's time to go back. Put the hat on. Welcome back. This is a potato chip. It's a really big potato chip. Our son Sam wanted a sculpture of a potato chip, so this is called Sam's Preferred Snack Choice.
Lovely as she goes, as she walks away, she knows I am watching her. And she'll turn and smile. Lovely as she goes, as she walks away, she knows I am watching her. And she'll turn and smile. Lovely as she goes, as she walks away, she knows I am watching her. And she'll turn and smile. Lovely as she goes, as she walks away, she knows I am watching her. She'll turn and smile.
Thanks for coming. We're going to wrap it up because YouTube says 15 minutes is all we got. So thanks for coming on the virtual field trip, and I'll leave you with my favorite word.